Hi dear Aries, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits that we have in August. We have quite an eventful month ahead of us. There's going to be 2 full moons. Yeah, that's super rare. At the very beginning of August and at the end of August we have 2 full moons, and then we have a new moon somewhere in the middle, and then we have Venus retrograding the entire month, and then Mercury is going to join Venus in the retrograde motion. Yeah, and so by the end of August we're gonna have like what, 6-7 planets in retrograde. Yeah, so it's going to be like as if it's gonna feel as if we are walking like through glue. Yeah, okay, anyway, what I'm trying to do with the horoscopes this time is that I'm gonna start with like the outer planets, okay, what's going on, and then like slowly I'm going to come to like the more personal planets. So let's see. When it comes to Aries, the nodes, the north node and the south node of the moon entered Aries and Libra, okay, on July 17th. Yeah, that's important. This happens once every 18 years, so this is huge. And the thing about it this time is that it's both of them, both the north node and the south node, are squaring Pluto on the 29th degree of Capricorn, so it's like very critical energy. And Pluto is a very transformative planet. So I don't know about you Aries, like a lot of you, but I'm pretty sure you guys are already feeling it. Like I'm an Aries myself, and I'm really feeling this. Like it's been intense. Yeah, both in a good way and in a bad way. Yeah. So you guys have that. Pluto is in your 10th house, and so yourself, your relationships and your work are somehow affected. Like there is this triangular energy going on there. And then Neptune is retrograding in the 12th house. I mean, Neptune has been in our 12th house for almost a decade now. No, maybe more than a decade. Yeah, so it entered Pisces in 2011, so it's been there for a long time. Yeah, Neptune in Pisces, it's probably been making us more spiritual. For example, in my case, like I grew up in a very like non-religious household. Nobody in my family like was particularly religious. And so, but like in the past 12 years, I have been like flirting with the idea of like maybe getting baptized. Yeah, like I haven't fully committed to that idea yet, but like I'm seriously considering that. So yeah, basically Neptune in the 12th house makes us more spiritual, more religiously oriented, more in touch with our spirit, I guess, like soul. Yeah, Neptune, it's a very foggy planet. It's hard to pin it down. Like you can't see much through fog, right? That's what Neptune is. It's a very nebulous planet. But anyway, next is Uranus. Uranus is shaking things up in our 2nd house. It has been doing that since 2019, early 2019. Yeah, and we also got Jupiter in Taurus in our 2nd house. So we are expanding our self-esteem, self-love, like yeah, confidence increasing. Uranus is like sudden surprises, like shaking things up. You guys, I'm sure you remember Uranus's transit through our sign in the previous decade. It was like a roller coaster all the time, like somebody pulling the rug from under our feet all the time. Like I was exhausted. But yeah, so now it's in Taurus, and now our finances, not just our personality, but like our finances experiencing that. Okay, next is Mars. Mars is in our jittery workaholic 6th house. Yeah, most of August is gonna be in our 6th house, and 6th house is routine, habits. It's also our work, everyday work, so it's probably been making us slightly more aggressive and competitive when it comes to work. Yeah. Next, Venus. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Venus is gonna be retrograde the entire month. Yeah, it's in our 5th house. Creativity, romance, those of you who have children, the focus is on children, etc. And Mercury is in Virgo all month, making us observant and detail-oriented. Yeah, Mercury rules Virgo, so it's like extra strong in that sign. So when it comes to like work and stuff, it's good for us in there. And finally, the sun. The sun is shining in our heart area, the 5th house. So think of the sun as the king, and king like visits each part of our chart once a year, like yeah. So right now the king is in our heart house. Yeah, that's where our heart is, like, because we are Aries, Leo is in its, you know, in its own house. Yeah, so children, creativity, romance, for those who are single. Yeah. Now let's begin with the transit. So on the very first day of August, we have full moon in Aquarius on the 9th degree of Aquarius. So those of you who have planets around that degree, you guys are going to feel this. Some of you might have your rising sign in the early degrees of Aquarius. Some of you might have, I don't know, Mars, Venus. Well, not maybe Venus. No, the Moon. Yeah, Moon and Mars around that area. Then you are going to feel it, because those are personal planets for you. Next, wait, no. So the luminaries on that full moon, both the sun and the moon, are going to make a T-square to Jupiter in Taurus on the 13th degree. So 9th degree and 13th degree, they are pretty close. So it is a tight, not tight, like kind of tight square. And so yeah, and then like moon loosely conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, very loosely, like 11 degrees apart, so barely feel it, but still. And what else? So that T-square aspect to Jupiter, that is, I guess, our emotions are going to be like over the top, because Jupiter tends to not know when to stop. It's like it tends to go overboard. Yeah, and it doesn't know how to discriminate. So when it's a good thing, he just multiplies it. When it's something bad, multiplies it. Jupiter doesn't know which one is good and which one is bad. Yeah, so when it comes to like a full moon, I feel like our emotions are going to be like over the top, dramatic. Yeah, because we've got the sun in Leo, moon in Aquarius. Yeah, I feel like the Leo and Aquarius axis is kind of like drama, very drama attracting axis. And then like Jupiter we've got there as well, like in Taurus. So the fixed signs. So yeah, I feel like there's going to be some sort of drama at this full moon. And the moon, as I said, is loosely conjunct Pluto, so it can be intense. Pluto is intensity. Like you cannot speak of Pluto without like thinking of intensity right away. Yeah. So be patient with yourself and with others during that full moon, because the full moon times are crazy times. Like the word lunatic comes from the word luna, the moon. So yeah, be like so 3 or 4 days before and after the full moon. Next, so during that full moon, we also have like Mercury and Mars in Virgo opposing Saturn. So I feel like we are going to be like kind of pessimistic. Yeah, Saturn is pessimism and Mercury is thoughts, and Mars is like aggression. So our thoughts will be like aggressively pessimistic, I guess. Yeah, so try to remember that it is temporary. Don't get too pessimistic. This too shall pass, as I say. Yeah, and so that full moon is going to be in your 11th house, friendships, romance. So those two areas are lit up for you. Yeah, so next, after that, things are gonna come down until like August 8th. So we have last quarter moon on the 15th degree of Taurus. Yeah, so the reason why I mentioned last quarter moon is that after last quarter moon, not much happens. Yeah, like things, it is a good time to wrap things up that started in the previous new moon. Like the new moon in Cancer in July. Okay, it was on the 17th of July. Yeah, so take that time to wrap things up, or prepare things for the next month, next lunar month. Yeah, don't try to start anything new during that week, like from August 8th until August 16th. Take that time to relax, okay, and get energy. So yeah, after that, August 9th, Venus retrograde is gonna square Uranus on the 22nd degree of Taurus, exactly. Like, so there might be some something surprising. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk about Uranus without mentioning some sort of surprise, like, you know, lightning flash, like out of nowhere. You cannot look at the sky and expect the lightning somewhere. Yeah, like you can't be like, oh, it's gonna happen over there. Not really. So Uranus is something like that. It's unpredictable. Yeah. So, and Venus is like love, Uranus, and then so something surprising about like relationship matters, maybe finances. Yeah. So next, on August 13th, Sun is gonna conjunct Venus retrograde on the 20th degree of Leo. That means there will be some sort of clarity, a new chapter for Venus matters. That means like from that day on, for the next 9 months, I believe. Yeah. Venus is gonna be a morning star. For the past few months, like I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, Venus has been an evening star. You could see her like after the sunset. But now we're gonna see her before sunrise. She's gonna be a morning star. And when Venus is conjunct Sun, she becomes like exactly between the Sun and the Earth. Yeah, so that's when she's like the closest to the Earth. So it's a good time to like contemplate on Venus matters. Maybe even if you don't realize it, even if you don't purposefully do it, Venus matters will somehow gain some clarity. Okay. So yeah. Next, on August 16th, we have a new moon in Leo on the 23rd degree of Leo. Those of you who have a rising sign around that degree, you guys are going to feel that new energy, especially. And those of you, those Aries who were born like in mid-April, you guys are going to feel the trine from this new moon. But yeah, so in this new moon, luminaries are gonna square Uranus on the 23rd degree of Taurus. Yeah, and Jupiter in like a loose aspect. So the square to the luminaries can add a bit of like unpredictableness again. Time will show what unpredictableness that is going to be. Next, there will be a kite aspect. Actually, I also wrote that here. So on that day, on the new moon in Leo day, there will also be a kite aspect involving Mercury, Mars in Virgo, Neptune in Pisces, Uranus and Pluto sextiling Neptune and twining Mercury and Mars. So we've got these two planets like Neptune, Mercury and Mars in Virgo, like they are opposing each other. And then on the sides we have like Pluto and Uranus in Earth signs. So there will be like mediators for that opposition. So and the thing is, Pluto and Uranus in friendly signs to all of those two like signs involved. So they're gonna be like friends mediating the conflict between the two opposing signs. Yeah. So it's a good aspect. It should be interesting. I'm looking forward to see what that kite aspect is going to bring. But the luminaries themselves, they don't make many aspects besides that square to Uranus. So I feel like that month is gonna be kind of like unpredictable. Yeah. On the more positive side, if we look at it optimistically, yeah, it might be some pleasant surprise. Who knows? Okay, so next, on August 21st, we have the exact square between Venus retrograde in Leo and Uranus in Taurus. Didn't I mention that before? Yeah, I guess I meant Jupiter, not Uranus. Yeah, okay, so the thing about Venus and Jupiter, even though they are square, in a square aspect, they are considered like the great benefics. I mean, like the greater benefic and the minor benefic, like Jupiter and Venus respectively. And so even though they are in a square, it's not really that bad. It's mostly just like overspending, maybe, or doing like love-related stuff, like going overboard with it. Yeah. So try not to spend too much money on August 21st, around that date. Yeah, don't splurge. Because Venus is retrograde. Yeah, Venus retrograde is not a good time to shop for new things. Okay, and so next, on August 23rd, Sun enters Virgo. Remember the king that I was talking about? The king was spending time in his own palace in our 5th house, and now the king is gonna go visit the house of Virgo in our chart, so like our work area. So yeah, like work related matters are gonna be lit up. I mean, this happens every single year, so it's not like something major like an eclipse, but anyway, so the focus is going to be on your work matters, health, routine, pets. Okay. Next, on the same day when the sun enters Virgo, Mercury stations retrograde in Virgo until September 22nd. Yeah, so Mercury retrograde. I must say that there will be miscommunication, so do be careful. Okay, misunderstandings are super easy when Mercury is retrograde. Like I had that when Mercury was retrograde last time in May. Super embarrassing misunderstanding. Yeah, both sides, we misunderstood each other and it was pretty embarrassing. So mark your calendars and be like, okay, like from August 23rd until September 22nd, 1 month of confusion, potential confusions, especially around the time when it starts retrograding and when it's about to go direct. That's when it's like at its peak confusion. Yeah. Also, Mercury retrograde is not a good time to sign contracts, and Venus is also retrograde, so it's like double no. Okay, don't sign contracts around this time. Even if you do sign a contract, bear in mind that like at some point in the future you will have to like change the terms of the contract, like maybe like you will leave that job sooner, or like if you sign the lease for the apartment, maybe in a couple of months later you will move out. Yeah, so it's not something that you will do until the end, or maybe even if you do stay at the same job, like the terms of the contract might change. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Also, Mercury retrograde is not a good time to buy new electronics. Yeah, don't buy new electronics. If you do buy electronics, get like insurance for it or keep the receipt, because you might have to return it. Yeah, like Mercury retrograde is known for causing such things. If you are thinking of buying like a laptop or some other new technology for school, let's say for university, try to buy it before August 23rd, like preferably like in early August, before like Mercury enters the shadow period. I forgot to write the shadow period times, but anyway, sorry. After that, we have Mars entering Libra until October 12th, from August 27th. Libra is our relationship sign, it's our opposite sign, so Mars is gonna enter that relationship area and like cause activity in there somehow. Yeah, so the relationship area, some activity is gonna be happening in there. But you know, August 27th, Venus is almost done retrograding. She will go direct on September 3rd or 4th, yeah, depending on where you live. Yeah, so I would say start doing relationship stuff after like September 4th. Yeah, even like late September, because Venus retrograde is not a good time to start dating. Yeah. Okay, next, also, by the way, like Mars in Libra, it can make other people like slightly more aggressive towards us, so yeah, keep that in mind. Don't try to get into too many arguments, I guess. And then on August 28th, Uranus stations retrograde until January 27th. Yeah, so let's see. Venus is retrograde. Mercury is retrograde, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune. Yeah, so 6 planets in retrograde. It's gonna feel like slow motion. Have you guys ever tried running when you're like this deep in water? It's exhausting, right? It's like really hard, physically exhausting. That's how it's going to feel. Yeah, so don't expect to start a lot of new things in August, especially late August. Yeah, like not much is gonna happen. Instead, use that energy to like work on the things you started when all the planets were going direct in the beginning of the year. Yeah, so don't feel frustrated if things aren't moving at a pace you want it to. Okay, keep that in mind. Next, finally, on August 30th, we have a full moon in Pisces on the 7th degree of Pisces. So yeah, if you have a rising sign around that degree, your Venus sign, moon sign, then you are going to feel it the most. Okay, But otherwise, for other Aries who don't really have planets around that degree, it won't feel like that eventful. But you know, full moons are full moons. It's an emotional time. And the thing about this full moon is that it is conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Yeah, Saturn is in like the early degrees of Pisces, so it's a tight conjunction. And so, oof, it's interesting. It's an interesting mix of energies. We have Pisces, which is like super emotional, and then we have Saturn, which is like very dry. So I guess Saturn is gonna make this full moon a bit like dry emotionally. I mean, emotions are still gonna be there, but like it's not the kind of full moon where you're like crying your eyes out. Not as much as you would normally. Like, yeah, so it should be interesting. And you know, Saturn is depressing a little bit, so we'll see how that feels. Unlike the other full moon, which happened on August 1st, this one doesn't have as many harsh aspects besides that Saturn conjunction. So it should be, yeah, like normally emotional. Like people are impatient, on the edge around full moons. So again, be patient with yourself and with others. Yeah, Venus will be slowing down to turn direct, so September should be a little bit more like more active, I guess. Yeah, so this is it for August, dear Aries. Yeah, and keep in mind that Venus retrograde tends to make us not too confident in ourselves. It's like because it's the planet of self-esteem, so don't feel too bad if you feel like your confidence is low, or if you feel like unloved, or if you feel like as though you're not gonna find love or anything. No, please don't feel that way. Keep in mind that this is temporary and things are gonna go back to normal in the romance section in September and October. Okay, and we have an eclipse in our relationship house in October, so look forward to that. Okay, and I wish you guys a pleasant August, and I'll see you in September. Bye.